So moving on to the Raiders, and I gave this specifically to my guy. Welcome to the network. I wanted to get his take on how he feels about the divisional rival Raiders getting Pete Carroll as their next head coach. So, young RG, take it away. Please tell me how you feel about Pete Carroll going to the Raiders.
All right, so I'm just gonna go straight out with it with my grade. I give it just a solid C. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right?
Average.
I broke it down in terms of like, what are the pros, side of hiring him, your typical pros cons list. So obviously it's a Super Bowl winning head coach. I mean, you can't, that kind of experience is not readily available typically. Although Doug Peterson just got let go on, from Jacksonville we were just talking about. So, there is that, but I think what kind of separates Pete from that obviously is he's one of the 3 head coaches in history to win the national championship and the Super Bowl. Granted, those were both seems like decades ago and eons ago, but he did that, and he is one of 3, so you can't take that away from him. I believe he's a upgrade over AP, and that right that they got that right. You didn't want to go backwards in hiring a first-time head coach, so it was the safe hire, I guess you could say, which is also more so I gave them the C because they didn't really go for the big splash, but they also didn't underwhelm. They didn't underwhelm their fan base by going after some no name. And this one just a pro kind of just for a little bit of fun. He has familiarity with Jim Harbaugh, obviously from the time together in the NFC West and in college, when Pete was at USC.
It's not a good history.
No, it's not a good history. So, but it's there, he's got history. So I'm sure Raiders fans are happy about that. But now getting to why I personally didn't like this hire. I know a lot of Raider fans, were kind of like on the fence about it. Some liked it, some didn't. But I mean, he's known for one of the biggest blunders in NFL history that, I mean, realistically, probably destroyed a could be or should have been dynasty. Like the Seahawks were built to absolutely just terrorize the league for like 4 years at least. That defense was one of the best we'd ever seen. And from one stupid play call on a goal line, you completely shifted the trajectory of that franchise, and Brady gets another ring. And I mean, just so many things happen that shouldn't have happened based on that call. So having that over your head is tough to come back from. He is the oldest head coach now officially in the NFL at 73 years old. So, they say it's a young man's game. That feel like that somewhat also kind of applies in the coaching department. At some point, new innovation and new mindsets are needed. So, the age can definitely be something that hurts the Raiders if he, holds on to something that is kind of obsolete in today's era. And that kind of ties into my last thing is his best days, I believe, are behind him. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to really recapture that magic he had in Seattle. With that defense, with, a rookie or young Russ with a beast mode, so I feel like there's just a lot of things that he doesn't have in Vegas that he did at his previous stops. So I just think, given the division, given the competition in the division, given the coaching competition in the division, not just the rosters, I mean, he's going to the worst team. Obviously, it was the only one with the opening, the only team in that division to not make the playoffs this year. I mean, like, there's just so much that he has going against him, and I don't want to say that this is a bad hire necessarily because of him, but it's also just because of where he's going and the situation that they're in right now. So it's tough. I gave him a C. I think it could have some positive implications, but I heard somewhere, and I feel bad not giving credit for this, but I heard somewhere that this feels like the hire before you bring in the guy to, fully rebuild a franchise, fully give him the reins to take over. It's like it's the era before the era, if that kind of makes sense. So Raiders fans, it's going to be a little tough. You might be in purgatory for like the next year or so. Ultimately, you're just hoping that Pete can instill some sort of culture into this team, give them some kind of identity, have it so they're not swept by by two or by the three teams. And did they win a division game this last year?
Maybe not.
No, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think. Yeah. So I mean, like it's just little things like that. Like,
did they win the last game of the season?
Broncos? No, that was against us. They did not. That was QJ's legacy game, and we thought, he's poised for no, but I won't get into that.
Yeah.
But if they did, it had to have been to the Broncos. I don't think. Yeah, they didn't beat the Raiders. So either way, you're looking for somebody to give you some division wins to start off with, and then kind of see about building into maybe contending for the playoffs. But enough about that. We'll move on to
they got the swept by the whole division.
They got so 0-6 in the division. There you go. So yeah, I mean it's rough.
Right where they belong.
it's rough to say the least. I love it as a Chargers fan, and Alex loves it as a Chiefs fan, and we love it. But speaking for the Raiders, it's a rough situation. And now getting into
speaking of rough situations.
Speaking of rough situations.
Yeah. It's getting into some real choppy water here.
Coach Mike is going to be happy to hear about this one. So,
I'm good static.
Here we got the Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer, and Chargers fans recognize that last name, Schottenheimer. Yes,
we do.
It is the son of the late great Marty Schottenheimer, who of course coached the Chargers probably to some of their best seasons ever, and before ownership and general management screwed it up. But whatever, won't get into that. But
trauma. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of trauma there. A lot of scars. But once again, starting off, you got coach is Mike is gonna love this. I give it a D-. I give it a D-, nice. Grade higher, and and I was gonna say the only reason there's a little bit of a personal reason why I didn't give it a straight up F was because it is Marty Schottenheimer's son.
Okay,
and I have that little bit of respect. That small bit of respect for him. Right. But I mean, my pros list is too long. It's hiring from within. He has some familiarity with Dak. That's I guess something that you can at least take with you. And my other one is he's the son of the late great Marty Schottenheimer. So that's all I got. Cowboy fans, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. That's all I got for you.
Right. Now to get into as a Commander fan, I give it an A.
Yeah, I'm sure every NFC East team give it an A.
Yeah. The Giants are clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we don't got the worst head coach anymore.
Exactly.
But I mean,
that's like hiring from within an unsuccessul coaching regime.
Yeah,
dude. And then you got Jerry announcing it, where he gives some spiel about like how hard it is to find a coach.
Go back though. How about when he announced it? It was on like a Friday night at like 10 o'clock. Like he just slip this text to Schefter, let him tweet this out at 10 o'clock on a Friday when nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, no one cares.
And right. Jerry does everything. Like he signed Dak. What was it, like the Sunday or whatever it was before the season started? Like he does everything purposefully. He did not give a shit about them hiring Brian Schottenheimer. He's like,
no.
Go ahead, but like,
he's like, Steven, what name am I telling this Schefter guy? Oh, Schottenheimer. All right,
spell it.
Yeah, who's that?
Schottenheimer, you said? What?
Right.
What kind of last name is
2
that?
T's or 3 O's.
It's just a dumpster fire there.
No, yeah. I mean, and this is getting into my cons. I mean, this is a typical Jerry Jones hire. He will be a puppet. He will be someone that he just props up while Jerry really runs things, and Jerry's telling him how and when to do things, when and how to bark. I mean, this is what we've seen from the last couple of head coaches. I mean, this is what we've seen. Like Jerry Jones has just treated like all these head coaches like pets. Like just, you're a cute my little lap dog. I'll put you up in front of the camera, but we all know that I'm the one calling the shots. I'm the one doing everything. I'm drafting these players. You really have no real say. And I actually give high credit to Mike McCarthy for having enough respect. Yeah, having enough respect for himself to be like, nah, dude, like I'm not doing that. I'm out. I'll take my luck elsewhere. And, I also mentioned that, Brian's ceiling is his potential ceiling is significantly lower than what Mike McCarthy's was. At least Mike McCarthy was giving you those 12-win seasons, keeping you
For real.
relevant in the regular season. I mean, like, you're not going to get that anymore. The Commanders, I mean, they look like they might have the best quarterback in the division. The Eagles are going to be the Eagles with Barkley in that rushing attack. Yeah, the Giants are, whatever, but eventually you would like to think that they'll get something right and they'll, be able to put up a fight against these Cowboys. But it's no longer the case where it's just the Eagles and the Cowboys fighting for it, and whoever wins, that'll be the team that gets the home playoff game. No, the Commanders are right there. The Giants are, they want to compete. I think Daboll's a great head coach, but we'll see what happens with that situation. I just think until Jerry gets rid of that delusion that he can solely be the reason that this franchise can turn back to their winning ways, it's never going to happen. They're going to continue to be mediocre at best. And, this is just music to Mike's ears. But, I mean, this is the reality. And I love it because Cowboys fans are obnoxious as hell. They're the Raiders fans of the NFC. So I love it. This is a great. You gave me the two best coaching hires because they're both, in my opinion, awful.
You're welcome. Not a problem, my guy. Not a problem. But yes, I definitely agree. It's definitely uphill climb for the Cowboys for the next few years for sure. Yeah, I don't like it at all. In what they're doing. But like you said, it's getting to the point where they almost need to have a rule in the NFL. Like when you get a certain age, you need to hand off the day-to-day to somebody else. Because Jerry he's past it at this point. Like, it just take enough happy pills throughout the day, he just gets crazy. So I don't know. But it's a bad omen for the Cowboys. But I will say this. The good bad thing about it is the Cowboy fans have started to come to grips with the idea that they're in for it. Because the Raider fans, they're just obnoxious, in their own, world that they live in. They don't live in, normal world, but they live in a different dimension, a different metaphor.
No, they live in the 70s and the 80s. That's where they're living.
So it's something else. But the Cowboy fans have been a little bit humble the last couple of years if you've been paying attention. So
that's true.
For sure. So yeah, we'll see how things go with that. But yeah, I don't like the hire at all. But speaking of hires or the situation that's going to be an uphill climb, the Saints don't have a head coach yet. They're the last team to fill their vacancy. I would argue that they might be waiting for Kellen Moore to get done his tenure with the Eagles, and they're likely going to hire him. They have Mike McCarthy in the pipeline as well, but I think there's some issues with language in the contract and the amount of things they were willing to give or not give. From a Saints perspective to Mike McCarthy, so he's kind of in a holding pattern, and depending on what Kellen Moore asks for and what his demands will be, I guess they'll go with the idea of who wants the least amount of control, personnel-wise, decision making power, and things of that nature. But I do believe those two are the leading candidates for that job. But regardless who gets it, they got a big time uphill climb. This has been a MO for this team for the past 8 or 9 years. They've been in cap hell every single season. They're literally at this moment $57 million over the cap.
Oh my God! Dude.
Over the cap. So you have to clear that before the league year starts, before even to be eligible to do anything. So that's an uphill climb within itself. So that's a job that just from a perspective that you got questions about your quarterback, you don't have a number one receiver, O-line's getting a little shaky. Alvin Kamara seems to be unhappy. Defense is getting older. This might be a full rebuild if you're looking at it from a big picture perspective. So I would say
I'm wondering who are they paying? Like where did all the cap money go? Because it's not like they have
so let's
Carr, I mean
Derek Carr, Cam Jordan,
Taysom Hill,
Matthew, Tyrann Matthew,
Kamara, Ramczyk, Ruiz.
Probably still paying Mike Thomas. No.
Probably.
They are. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They have $9 million in dead money. And Martin Lattimore,
yeah,
was $31 million in dead money. So yes. So yeah, they got a lot going on. They're gonna be
a fire sale in New Orleans after the Super Bowl.
As soon as the coach gets in place, they're going to start selling all product real fast, I believe. So yes indeed. What's up, DZ?
They have their GM. They have their GM in place too, or are they looking for that?
I think they still have their GM, right?
I think they still have a GM. I don't think nobody poached him from for another job. So yeah, but still. I mean,
given that roster situation, exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
we're talking miracle worker here. So yeah, I think Kellen Moore might end up getting a job because he's younger and probably will ask for less because this would be a first time head coaching tour for him. But yeah, I think that's going to be uphill climbing. The Saints going to be in full rebuild mode. I think they might just strip it down to the bare minimum and just start over.
And it's going to be a long rebuild for Saints fans. It's going to be a brutal one.